Hi, my name is Leah Day, and welcome to Quilt Along number 27 on the Free Motion Quilting Project. Unfortunately, I've had some computer problems this week, so I'm not able to show you the designs that I was wanting to show you. So instead, I'm going to teach you how to store your quilts properly. And this goes for any kind of quilt, bed quilts, show quilts. I have a lot of very large wall hangings, and I've had to figure out a way of kind of storing these when they're not in use, so that way they're not all over the house, and then two, they're not folded. The best thing to do is to roll them, and you can see how I've rolled all of my quilts, and they're all in kind of a storage system up in my closet and stacked where they stay out of the way and in really good organization. So I'm going to show you how to actually build this storage system. Basically, it's the quilt is wrapped around a central tube, and you can see how tightly it's wrapped, and then another kind of sleeve goes up around it. So let me show you how to design this exactly for your quilts. So this is a quilt that's all rolled up. This is Shadow Salve, and basically all you have to do is the center tube is a pool noodle. You can just go to Walmart or Kmart and look for pool noodles. You'll have to cut them to the length of your quilt. If your quilt's longer than the pool noodle is, then of course just add two together. And then all you do is wrap a tape measure around it and get a measurement. So that's 8 inches. Add about a 1/2 inch seam allowance, so maybe cut your fabric about 9 inches. Sew it together to create basically a sleeve, and then seam the top together so it's nice and secure. That's going to protect your quilt from the pool noodle, and that material is actually, like the colors and stuff, can leach into your quilt, so you want to make sure to cover that with fabric. So once you wrap your quilt around your central tube, then you're going to take your tape measure again and measure that. And you want this to be very tight. You want to really take your time, spread it out on the floor, and make sure it's nice and tightly wrapped around that pool noodle. And so this is coming out at about 14 or so inches. I would end up cutting the sleeve around 15 inches or more, maybe 15 to 16, let's say 15.5, and again do the exact same thing. You're basically kind of creating a pillowcase. You could even create that. All you're going to do is sew down one long seam and then sew the bottom, and then of course I kind of rolled this up at the top so that way I don't have a lot of stray threads. Then it's just a simple matter of sliding the quilt into the sleeve, making sure everything stays nice and tight, and you have a lot of excess up here at the top so your quilt is nice and protected. So that's exactly how I wrap and store all of my quilts. And this is a great way of traveling with your quilts. If you travel to shows, if you vend, this is a really good way of keeping them protected. Rolling a quilt is far better for it than folding it because you're not going to get those fold lines. It is a good idea to always roll from the bottom to the top or the top to the bottom. Don't roll from side to side. So if it's a quilt that's hanging on the wall, don't roll it from left to right, because otherwise the edges, the bottom edges, will end up curling on you. So always roll from top to bottom or bottom to top vertically, and that's going to be the best way to store it. I leave some quilts, like the Duchess, which was a quilt that got very badly damaged, I leave her in storage all year round. I unroll her every once in a while and take a peek, and really honestly I've not seen nearly the amount of wear and tear on that quilt because of the way I've stored it. So this is a very effective method. No matter what kind of quilts you have, it's a really good way to store them, keep them safe, so that they last for many years. My name is Leah Day. I hope you've enjoyed this video on storing your quilts. Make sure to link up your blog post with the Quilt Along, anything that you've been working on. If you tried quilt painting from last week, that's great. Or if you have any questions about storing your quilts and creating a sleeve like this, please feel free to ask. Until next time, let's go quilt.